Righty, Cerebral Tackle here with Cooper Gallant. How did it roll out here for you this week? I know you've probably been asked 100 times, but kind of give me a good little summary.
Yeah, it was a great week. Today, like first 3 days I caught them pretty good. Averaged about 29 pounds over 3 days, and then today I had 12.5 pounds, but it was enough to get a century belt. And come 1:30, 2 o'clock, I'm at like 7 pounds or 8 pounds, and I caught a 5.5 pounder or whatever it was in the last like 20 minutes or something. And that got me over 100 pounds. Being able to get a century belt doesn't come very often, so I didn't want to blow it this week. So we got it done, thank God.
I mean, so as far as forward-facing sonar and the crazy debate going on right now, how much of a player was forward-facing sonar for you in this tournament?
Yeah, I used it 80% of the time. Every fish I caught this week was on forward-facing sonar. I did fish the bank a little bit. I looked for spawners, but I couldn't really figure anything else out.
With Mr. Kyle Patrick, do me a favor. You made the top 10 here today, April Fish Day. How did it work out for you? Where do you think you ended up in the end? I know we're still weighing in.
I'll probably be 9th. You know, it was a harder day for me. It's funny how 21 pounds is a bad day on Lake Fork. You know, it's just a blessing to be here. Honestly, you guys have an amazing facility. The lake is extraordinary. It really is. It's an unbelievable fishery. So, you know, if anyone is watching this and hasn't come down to Lake Fork to fish for bass, they should, because it's special.
And so, with as many folks cashing in and getting their century belt this tournament, I mean, what does that mean to an angler?
I mean, for me to get my century belt is crazy. That's an accomplishment that not many people can say, and every angler in the top 10 got it, we may not have an event like this for 10, 20 years unless we come back to Lake Fork in March. So, but you never know. So, I mean, I think it's great that everyone capitalized on the opportunity.
Gotcha. And with the whole debate about forward-facing sonar going on these days, how much did forward-facing sonar go into what you did this week?
You know, so forward-facing sonar for me, it's really a tool, right? I actually was fishing shallow a lot, but I used forward-facing sonar in a different way than normal. I mean, I caught a few fish when I caught a few key fish looking at the fish, but a lot of the times what I did with my forward-facing sonar is I was able to just see the bushes that are submerged, or like see a grass line, and just, you know, use it to make pinpoint casts, not necessarily, you know, seeing the fish and hitting that, but using it to see the structure, along with my, you know, 360. A lot of people forget about how good Mega 360 is. So I use both of those as a tool, you know, to be able to present my bait in high percentage areas.
Here with Wesley Gore, championship this Sunday here at Lake Fork Elite Series event. So, how did it work out for you this week?
It was a phenomenal week. We ended up in 7th place. We had 115 pounds after 4 days of competition, which was the best 4-day bag. That's 4 consecutive days of the best days of fishing I've ever had. This place is phenomenal. I wish we would come back every year at any time. I mean, the amount of big ones in this place is unreal. We caught them doing all kinds of stuff this week. I mean, I got to do something I love to do today. I fished up shallow, which is something you don't get to do a whole lot. So being on championship Sunday, stress-free, I was in 10th. There wasn't nowhere to go but up. I caught a few out there this morning. I didn't see what I liked, so I moved to the bank and had a ball. I caught some big ones on our boat docks and swimming to dig.
Now, with the big controversy going on right now with forward-facing sonar, how much did forward-facing sonar play in your role during the week?
It played a good bit. I mean, I probably caught 60% of the fish I weighed in this week with it, but I caught a good percentage without it. I mean, I was fishing shallow all week. I caught 1 or 2 a day under a boat dock, a couple swimming a jig. I mean, the fish that got me in the championship Sunday yesterday, I caught under a boat dock 8.5 pounders. So, I mean, I wasn't using it just completely. So, obviously it changes the dynamics of the tournament if I don't have it, but, you know, if I didn't have it, I wouldn't practice for it. So, that changes my practice.
That century belt, what does that mean to you?
I don't have words for it. Second Elite Series event, and to catch 115 pounds is amazing. I haven't ever caught so many big ones in 7 days consecutively like I have this week. It's been phenomenal. It just speaks words for what the Texas wildlife and game do for this place. I mean, it it don't have as many fish as Toledo, but it has a lot. But the amount of big ones in this lake is phenomenal. And I'm just so glad we got to come and have the opportunity to actually have an opportunity to catch it, because you don't get that many places in the country.
Out here on the Elite Series event on Lake Fork, Texas, with the great Stetson Blaylock. So, Stetson, give me a little recap. Tell me how satisfied you are with your week and the way it went.
Yeah, after practice, I did not see the weights that they caught this week coming. So catching 117 pounds, top 10 finish, I'm tickled to death with it. This is one of my favorite places to fish, and that ain't going to change anytime soon.
And with the forward-facing sonar and the big debate behind it right now, how much did forward-facing sonar play a role in your week this week?
I'd say probably 60 to 70%. Yeah, I mean, it definitely couldn't have caught a lot of those without it, no question.
But as far as how Fork stacks up, what are your thoughts?
I think there's lakes that have more fish in them than Fork does, but there's no comparison as far as tournament lakes go that this is the best lake in the country. No doubt. As far as five fish limits, there's no question.
Justin Atkins here on the final day, Bassmaster Elite Series event on Lake Fork. So, you're fishing the final day.
Yeah.
Give me a quick recap of what led up to it and how you think you're going to end up today.
Yeah, so we caught big ones all week. It really, I got anchored by my first day. I had 32.11, and then the rest of the days I went 29, 28, and 27. We had a few opportunities every day. The day I had 32, I lost about a 9-pounder, and then today I lost 2 really big ones. But I was blessed to be able to make it every day, keep advancing on. And I think we're going to end up about 5th, maybe 6th. I'm not exactly sure, but if you told me before this started I could take a 5th or 6th place, I'd have took it gladly. So I'm super blessed and excited with it.
And that Century Belt,
yeah.
What does that feel like?
Yeah, and to finally catch 100. We don't go to a lot of places where it's even an opportunity. So when we come here, it was nice to capitalize on it for once.
So fishing, final 10 here, championship Sunday. How was it this week for you?
It was awesome. It was so fun. I just enjoyed myself out there.
And as far as getting that Century Belt, what did that mean?
That meant a lot. It's all I wanted. Like, winning a tournament would have been cool, but I knew what kind of task that would be, where I could just go have fun and maybe get a Century Belt and just fish the way I want to. It's so fun. I'm so happy.
And like forward-facing sonar, I know there's a big debate on it now, but I mean,
Yeah.
as far as how it went into your week, how much of a role did it play?
I mean, it's a weird thing to say because it's like some of them I did straight up scope, like the scope was 100%, but then some of them would be in a brush pile or a piece of brush on the shoreline, and I would see them with my scope, but I would have passed it there anyways. It just really made it so I could pinpoint it. Just kind of help me figure out where my cast would land instead of having to recast to the spot. But then some of them were like 100%. So I'd say I used it about 75% of the time this week.
Mr. Justin Hamner, fishing the final day, how did you feel out there today?
It felt good. Just to be on Championship Sunday anytime is phenomenal. But I caught the biggest bass of my life out there today, the 11-7. Words can't even describe it. We broke the Century Belt. It's just been a phenomenal week.
You know, this early on in the career, be able to accomplish this much. I mean, Fork, like you said, Century Belt. I mean, doesn't get much better than that, does it?
I just want to win one. That's our next thing.
All righty, here with Tyler Rivet, second place finish, Lake Fork, Texas, Elite Series event. So, I know you got to be happy with second place. But what was your favorite moment out of this week?
Man, the favorite moment would be that my personal best. I caught a 10-12 today, and that was my biggest ever. And to catch that was insane because I had three little fish in the lava at that time, and I was able to come back with that momentum just from that big fish.
Oh man! And then the Century Belt. What does that mean to you?
That's awesome. I was so scared this morning that I wasn't going to break it. I wasn't catching any fish, and finally I got three enough to make the 100-pound mark, and that's awesome.
With Fork being the unique fishery that it is, How do you think it stacks up against the other big lakes here in those? Because it always falls in the top 5 every year.
Man, well, Lake Fork, you can obviously see from the results that nothing else can compete with this lake. There's giant fish here, and there's plenty more, way bigger than what we caught out there still.
Here with the great young Trey McKinney out here, Elite Series Lake Fork Championship Sunday, and you did it.
Yes, sir.
Took it home. First win. How was this week? Wrap it up for me.
It's unbelievable, man. I mean, the first day, you know, we had 33.3. I was like, that's the biggest bag I'll ever weigh. And we just kept doing it and kept doing it. And it was just a dream that every night I go to bed, I'm thinking of it. And to be able to hold that heavy thing, it's a crazy moment for me right now. So hopefully we just keep the year consistent. And this is a moment I'll never forget.
You know, and not to mention that century belt on top of it.
Yes, sir.
I mean, talk about 2 things in the same tournament. Can't get much better than that, can it?
No, sir. It was unbelievable. We were only 2 pounds from the all-time record, so it was crazy. If I lost a fish yesterday that would have done it for me, and I just lost it. So, but it was crazy. Just to say I had the fish to break the all-time record is nuts.
You know, now I know there's a huge controversy going on right now with forward-facing sonar. So you know, people love it or hate it, right?
Yeah.
As far as how it worked out for you this week, how much of a part did forward-facing sonar play in your week?
Absolutely. I mean, I use it a lot. I use it as a tool. I don't use it as anything. I use it as a tool. I feel like a lot of people should see it that way. It was really good. I use it to find them, locate them, and then I fish for them.
But you know, no one can do what they did on Fork without having a lot of natural talent.
Well, thank you.
So absolutely congratulations on that.
Thank you, sir.
And so one bait that carried you this, if there's just one that carried you, what would you say?
Either a big jerk bait or a small jerk bait. But a lot of it was actually a Strike King Ocho, is a Nico. So that I caught a lot of fish on that.
So maybe play a little game of this or that. Okay. Where I give you 2 items, just tell me, just choose from. Okay, so Garth Brooks or Aerosmith?
Aerosmith.
All right, very good. Spinnerbait or chatterbait?
Chatterbait.
Right. Randy Ballcat or Ben Milliken?
Ben Milliken. A million times over. Ben is so much cooler.
And smallmouth or largemouth?
A largemouth, hands down.
Yeah, especially after a week like this. Right? Well, what are you going to do?
I'll never, ever want to fish for smallmouth again after being on this lake.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Well, first, Garth Brooks or Aerosmith?
Aerosmith.
Spinnerbait or chatterbait?
Spinnerbait.
Randy Ballcat or Ben Milliken? Marvel or DC?
Marble.
Smallmouth or largemouth? Now, especially coming off a week like this, right?
When else can you catch this much? I mean, smallmouth are fun and all, but you can't catch 10s.
Right.
I got to weigh in one of those on the first day, so that's pretty amazing.
You know, okay, first, Garth Brooks or Aerosmith?
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith, all right. Spinnerbait or chatterbait?
Chatterbait.
Randy Ballcat or Ben Milliken?
Milliken. Scoping all the way.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Smallmouth or largemouth?
I'd say largemouth, because I don't know, smallmouth. They're fun.
You know they are. You got to get that tail wag action. Now get up top of the water, that little dancing, right?
That's it.
Quick game of word association. I'm gonna throw 5 terms or names at you. Just tell me the first thing comes to mind.
Okay.
Alrighty. First, Dave Mercer.
Dave Mercer, Shakalaka.
Of course, right? And helicopter lure. Helicopter lure.
Helicopter what?
Helicopter lure. You never heard of the helicopter?
Oh, spy bait. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when you say I don't know.
Gotcha. And how about G-Man?
G-Man? Funny.
Okay. How about Ozarks?
Ozarks, dogs.
There we go. And good old Texas rig.
Texas rig, adrenaline craw. Excellent adrenaline craw.
Just tell me your first thing comes to mind when you hear these names or phrases here. First, good old Dave Mercer.
Oh, Canadian. Legend. He's
Absolutely.
so awesome.
The helicopter lure.
Old school.
G-Man.
Nut.
Ozarks.
Great fishing.
A little table rock action. And the good old-fashioned Texas rig.
Money in the bank.
Just tell me the first thing that comes to mind when I read off these places or names here. First is going to be Dave Mercer.
He can talk now. He's good with it. He's smooth with the words.
Helicopter lure.
Helicopter lure? Isn't that I forget.
Roland
Rick
Martin. Roland Martin.
Roland Martin that done it. I've heard about it.
Yeah. G-Man.
I like it. He's funny. He's a real funny guy.
Entertaining dude, isn't he? How about Ozarks?
I like Lake of the Ozarks. It's good. I like it. They have a couple of really good fisheries up there.
Very good. And the good old school Texas rig.
So many different ways it can be fished. I can fish it out deep. I can fish it on a worm. I can fish it. That's an all-time versatile rig that I like.
5 quick questions of just your history growing up as an angler. Your favorite place to fish as a kid?
Ponds next to my house. I grew up right next to a couple of ponds, and every afternoon I walk down there after school and fish. And just it's where I learned to love to fish, and it still rings true today. Just love it.
On that subject, did you ever maybe sneak onto a golf course pond or onto a farm to tap a little bit of pond action?
So not that specifically, but there was a little private lake close to my house too that, every now and then we'd sneak in there and catch a few big ones. So it was a lot of fun.
The lure that you caught your first fish on a lure on, what was it?
Man, I don't even know, because I've fished so long. I don't think I can tell you that. I really don't know. Yeah, I do not know.
And is there a lure that they don't make anymore that you really wish they still made?
Well, they brought it back, but the Rebel Pop RP 70 was one of the greats of all time. They brought it back, and it's a really, really good bring back, but there's something about the old originals.
When you were younger, did you ever play hooky from school to go fishing?
Yes, but I was fortunate enough to homeschool through high school. So I was able to fish a lot more and do my work on the side. So in a roundabout way, you could call it that.
Where was your favorite place to fish as a kid?
Probably Maranacook Lake in Maine. I go back there every time I go back home, and I just have a blast. Just reliving old memories, days of throwing a whopper over weeds.
And did you ever play hooky from school to get out there and wet a line?
My mom did a lot of my schoolwork. That's all. And your first fish that come on a lure, what lure was that? It was a half-ounce jig.
Really?
Yeah.
Start off strong.
Yeah, I watched a Facts of Fishing video from Dave Mercer himself, and he was throwing a jig in a pond, and then so I went out and bought a jig, and then my first cast I ever made, I caught a 5-pounder. And then I've been a jig fisherman ever since.
That'll tend to hook you.
Yeah.
If there was one lure that they don't make anymore that you wish they'd bring back, what would it be?
I don't know if I'm old enough to know discontinued lures. I don't really know off the top of my head. Maybe some of the old, like duck and jerk baits. They were kind of like a 110, but they worked really well.
Have you ever snuck onto like a farm pond or a golf course pond?
Yeah.
You have to do that.
I still do it to this day.
And if you had one person to pick for your pick for who would win the Bassmaster Classic, who would you put your money on?
Jason Christie.
Hey, not a bad pick. If you had to choose your pick for the Bassmaster Classic, who would it be?
Myself.
Every time.
Can't go bet against Jason Christie. I think they're going to be on the bank that week. I'm not sure what the moon is, but we just come off the moon of classics in 2 or 3 weeks, so you're going to be around a moon, so it's going to put them up shallow. I think you're going to get to see a different classic than we've seen in the past. I think you could see fishing all around the spawn where it's usually pre-spawn. I think you're going to actually get to see some spawn stuff while you're up there, pre-spawn and some post-spawn stuff, so it'll be exciting. I'm really unsure of who. Milliken's always good. a good pick. He's good at catching those big ones. And I think if you could lock a big bait in your hand and have the confidence to do it all day and just get 5 bites, you could really do well. And he's the man to do it.
Bassmaster Classic. Who would it be?
It's got to be Jason Christie again. I mean, you know, even though he won it, that's his home lake. He knows it well. He was close to winning a classic there before. He's probably going to want some redemption on that, so I've got to go with him.
Kyle Welcher.
Al Welcher. Not a bad pick. As far as your pick for who you would have or like to see win the Bassmaster Classic.
Probably myself.
There you go. Right answer. Always bet on yourself, my man.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to take it?
I'm going to have to go with Patrick Walker. Dude is an animal. He is on a roll. He can't do any wrong. And
That's awesome.
he's like my best friend out here, so if I'm not going to win it, I'll let Patrick.
There you go. Bassmaster Classic. We're hearing the footsteps. It's coming up.
Oh yeah.
Who's your pick?
Me.
Exactly right.
That's it.
And if you had to pick a racehorse for the Bassmaster Classic, who would it be?
Oh, that's a good. I don't know. For this Bassmaster Classic,
Yes, sir.
I don't know, man. I mean, the Polnick, the Drew Benton, the Drew Cook, them guys are all so good. You know, it's hard to say. Benmilliken, he's really good as well. I know some people, you know, go left and right on it, but I think Ben's a great guy. He's always been good to me. So there's a lot of. I mean, there's so much talent in there. It's almost hard to pick one person.
Dave Mercer, host of Facts of Fishing, Bassmaster Elite Series MC. This is Cerebral Tackle. Keep it wet.
Thank you so much, sir.
No
I appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you
Take
for
care.
coming out. Glad to have you.